Hey guys, Derek here with Trailco, coming to you from the great state of Colorado. It is December 11th, 2021, and we have no snow here at all. It's great. So when an opportunity like that arises, you take the opportunity, you take your Jeep, and you go up into the mountains and do some trails. And that's what we're going to do here today. The trail that we're going to do is called Spring Creek Trail. It's located in Lawson, Colorado. It's about 45 minutes west of Denver, right on Interstate I-70. The trail itself is about 10 miles in length, although it does feel like it's 15 to 18 just because it's a slow-moving trail. There's a lot of obstacles, a lot of big boulders that you have to overcome. So we're going to show you that trail here in just a second. I did want to quick touch on something. About a mile and a half up, there's a old mining camp that they used back in the 1800s. We're going to stop there as well. Going to show you around. It's a great place to camp if you ever get the opportunity. The nice thing about that is you can still get to that point in a stock vehicle. There might be some challenging spots, but at the end of the day, you could probably get there. Beyond that, though, you're going to want some type of vehicle with a lift, some tires that are at least 35, because it gets pretty treacherous beyond that point. So stay with us, guys. It didn't take long for us to reach the trailhead, and upon doing so, we had the wonderful task of airing down our tires, which is one of my least favorite things to do just because I don't have the system at this point to make it quick. In addition to that, it was extremely cold. So this trail starts off almost immediately with a steep incline that will push you back into your seat. There's a portion of this trail right here that as your tire gets up onto these rock formations, it's going to lean you to the left, causing you some slight panic attack. One of the most popular obstacles that this trail has to offer is called the wall. I decided to bypass the wall today simply because I have my kids with me. However, if you decide to do it and you're able to complete it, this is where you would join up with the trail again. And I would rate the difficulty somewhere between an 8 and a 9. You should also be aware that there have been a number of vehicles that flip, so if you're going to attempt this, make sure you know what you're doing. It's cold. Hey, say hi.
Hi.
All right, guys, so we made it to the Silver Creek mining camp. We didn't stay outside too long just because it was really cold and windy. Again, it's like 32 degrees, but just a very interesting place. This is actually a great place to come camping if you've got a rig that allows it, or if you just want to do some ground camping. This spot up here in the summer, maybe late summer as well, in the fall, really pretty place to camp. So if you are in this area, you're looking for a trail to do, come out and do this Spring Creek Trail. You're gonna have a blast. It's fun. We're about 2.5, 3 miles in. It is Interstate I-70. Look at this view, amazing. All right, so this is the cave. Not quite sure if there's a mining cave or what. It goes back in there pretty far. I'm not going to attempt to go in just because I don't want this thing falling in on us. But it's a cool cave, nonetheless. After a brief stop at the camp, we proceeded along this narrow portion of the trail that runs parallel with Interstate I-70. And because of the high elevation that we are at, the steep drop off to our right, the narrow trail, and the high winds, the fear factor was off the charts. But make no mistake, the fear we felt was all worth it for these views. As we continued on, the trail became more narrow, more difficult, and the winds continued to increase. It was at this portion in the trail that I noticed my kids were not saying a word. And if I'm being completely honest, I know that my kids were not the only ones nervous, as I was white-knuckling the steering wheel. As we continued our ascent, we surprisingly came upon some snow in the portion of the trail that I like to call the Boulder Incline. Now this obviously made it more difficult as the traction had decreased. All right guys, so we've reached the left-hand turn. This is one of, I think, probably 3 or 4 obstacles that we have to get through. Typically it's not too bad, but then you add in some snow here, it's gonna cause it to be slick. So we'll see if we can get over this guy without causing too much damage. I'll take a look at the front here. This is kind of the line that I want to take. Again, see if I can hold that line with the snow. And of course, as expected, I did miss my line a couple of times. But eventually, I was able to get over the obstacle and we were on our way. And here we are finally arriving at the infamous Rock Garden. This portion of the trail is long, difficult, slow, and you're going to say a few choice words. You do not want to try this portion of the trail in a stock vehicle under any circumstances. So, as I already mentioned, this is the rock garden. I would typically go through this. I'm going to bypass it a little bit. Even the bypass, though, it's got some gnarly spots, but just because we've got a covering of snow, it's just really hard to grip. So I'm going to bypass a little bit so I don't kind of beat the crap out of my Jeep here. Well, we finally made it to the top, but we had a decision to make. Do we continue on the Spring Creek Trail that will lead us into Idaho Springs, or would we turn off onto Saxon Trail that leads us into Georgetown? Because I'm such a sucker for views, we decided to take the Saxon Trail, and I can tell you, the views did not disappoint. It's moments like these that keep me chasing the off-road adventure. There's no two experiences within this lifestyle that are the same, and therefore the emotions felt are always new territory. And the fact that very few people in this world take the opportunity to experience the wonder of this world in this manner brings me gratitude. It's moments like this that drive me to leave a legacy for my children, giving them opportunities that will shape them into adventurous, and to teach them that the only boundaries are the ones that you create within yourself. Well, as we made our descent down to Georgetown, we came upon a portion of the trail that was glazed over with ice. Now, this actually reminded me of the lakes in the dead of winter in Minnesota. So I proceeded with caution, but after we made it across here safely, it was go time. The nice change of pace was shortly lived as we quickly approached our last and final obstacle, one that I like to call the passageway. And as you can see here, there are just inches on each side of your vehicle. We quickly made our way into the historical town of Georgetown, where to our surprise, they were celebrating their annual Christmas celebration. Well, guys, there you have it. That is a sneak peek into the Spring Creek Trail. Thank you so much for joining us. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. Hit that like button and that subscribe button. We're going to be bringing more content to you as the year goes on. Thank you so much for joining us, and have a Merry Christmas.